welcome back to my channel. So I haven't done a foundation review in an astonishingly long time. I think the last one I did was the Fenty foundation one, so I'll leave a link down below so you can actually check that out. But recently I think I did a Beautylish haul, I want to say. I'm going to leave links down below, but I ended up picking up a brand new foundation that has been making its rounds. This is called the Ordinary Colors Coverage Foundation, High Coverage Foundation Formula. So the Ordinary has been making the rounds. I think a lot of people have been really into their highly affordable, highly effective skincare range, and they have a couple of kind of makeup-y products, including their foundations. So I thought, why not? I've heard some good stuff about it, some kind of okay stuff about it, and I wanted to check them out by myself. And I have a lot of skincare at the moment anyway, so yeah. So before we get started, I wanted to find out a little bit more about this foundation and what it's touting to do. And I'm on the Ordinary website at the moment. I think the brand behind it is called DCM, and they're kind of really into skincare as well. So the coverage foundation that I bought purports to be high spreadability pigment suspension system with high coverage. I have no idea what that means, but there is a handy little chart here which actually tells you a lot of information about the product. Sorry, my phone is kind of going everywhere. So this purports to be alcohol-free, oil-free, nut-free, vegan, gluten-free, soy-free, and cruelty-free. So that's a lot of frees right there. But what it is not silicone-free, and it's not water-free. I guess some people are possibly allergic to water, potentially, I don't know. So the coverage foundations are full coverage formulations available in a comprehensive shade range of 21 shades. That's really surprising to me. I had a really hard time trying to track down a shade that would work with me. A lot of the ones that are available were really dark or really light, and I think they were just being sold out. So it's good to actually see that they have 21 shades, which is quite a lot, I think. Not as much as Fenty Beauty, but 21 shades is still good. So it says these foundations contain higher pigment levels than our serum foundations, but still offer a smooth finish that avoids the heavy makeup look that can make skin appear more aged. The texture is that of a lightweight, non-oily cream. So the pigments used in these formulations are treated for a richer, highly saturated effect, and they're suspended in our proprietary spreadability system that allows pigments to look natural on the skin and resist collecting within fine lines and stay on for longer. They offer a semi-matte finish and are compatible with most primers, designed to work exceptionally well with the primers from The Ordinary. So that's really cool. What else did they say? I feel like something has just fallen down. I don't know what's fallen down. Anyway, and that's pretty much it. There's a bit of a directions: shake before use, dispense a small amount, smooth and blend, etc, etc. And very handily, they also have a lot. I'm gonna stop doing that. They have the ingredients list that's easily accessible, so if you're allergic to anything, you can actually check them out here. I don't think I'm generally allergic to anything in terms of makeup. My skin can be a little bit sensitive sometimes, and I much prefer a kind of natural, looks like skin but offers a little bit of coverage, because my skin isn't perfect. Unfortunately, I suffered a lot from acne when I was younger. I have a lot of scarring, a lot of pigmentation, and you can definitely see some of it kind of peeking out right now. So I am wearing the foundation at the moment, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. So let's open this box. I actually really like the packaging of this. It reminds me of a pharmaceutical, again, skincare like product, so that's really cool. There's 30 mils in here. I think that's 1 fluid ounces. Yes, and I got it in the shade 2.1Y, so I think that means it's actually a yellow undertone. So let's open that up. And this is what the foundation looks like. Now this is so tiny. I don't know if you can see, like the bottle is just really small. It's a bit surprising considering there is 1 fluid ounces on here, which I think is the general size of most foundations. I have a few other foundations with me. For example, I just restocked my Makeup Forever HD foundation, which I really enjoy, and this is about 1.01 fluid ounces, about 30 mils as well. And look at how small that is compared to that one. That's just, I feel like half of it is just packaging. Here, I've got another one with me. This is the Dior foundation, Dior Star Studio Makeup foundation, and this is about 1 fluid ounces exactly, and again it's almost twice the size of that one. And my favorite ever foundation is obviously the NARS, and that's a bit more comparable, so they're almost the same size, but this one feels a bit more substantial. It's got a kind of glass packaging and looks a bit like that. What I like about the packaging is that it's literally so minimal. There's no fuss about it. It's got a kind of velvety cap, which gets a bit dirty, I guess. I have obviously used it. I've tried it out a couple of times to see its longevity, and it's kind of a little bit mucky, but otherwise it's just plastic and it's a tiny little bottle, so easy to take on travels with you if you're the type that takes your foundations along, and otherwise, yeah, it kind of looks like that. I am wearing the foundation at the moment, so I'm going to insert a video down here showing you how I've applied it, how it actually works in action, and I'll insert it right here, so I'll be right back. In terms of coverage, it's definitely decent coverage for how I usually like my foundations. I don't like a super masky, super high coverage look on my skin, because on me I think it looks really unnatural. Again, I'm very used to seeing my acne marks and pigmentation, so usually what I like is a little bit of coverage just to blend over them. And I'm more interested to see how the foundation sits on my skin. I want it to look fairly natural, like my skin is having a really good skin day. So I can see that it's fairly okay. It definitely hasn't completely covered all of the pigmentation, and definitely it's just kind of glides over a little bit over the pores, but over acne scars it's very much still visible. So in terms of it being a super high coverage foundation, it is not. I don't think so. I think there will probably be other things on the market if you're looking for super high coverage, but for me I think it's okay. Does say that it's not supposed to settle into fine lines, and I have a lot of laugh lines around here, and I can see it definitely settling a little bit, especially there's one here. I've got lines around my eyes as well. And what I've done actually is I have put a little bit of concealer right on top. I use I think it's a Colourpop No Filter Concealer, which I'm really enjoying using at the moment. So I've actually done a little bit under the eyes and a little bit over the pigmentation as well, and that gave me the amount of coverage that I really enjoy on an everyday basis. So this is my everyday look, which I wear for work. But yeah, you just have to be a little bit careful of the claims. I don't think it's a super high coverage foundation. In terms of how it actually feels, it is a matte finish. There's a little bit of luminosity. I think you can definitely see it in the camera, which is really nice. It is a matte finish, so that is good for me. And in terms of how it feels on the skin, I find it is definitely lightweight. I like the way it spreads. It isn't too liquidy, but you can definitely see the foundation kind of moving on my skin. It spread really easily. I like using a beauty blender, and it performs really well with a beauty blender. I feel that if you were going to apply this foundation using a brush, and really buff that in, that might actually afford you much more coverage. But with a beauty blender, I think it just kind of spread a little bit easily. It spread quite well on my skin, and you can see that actually I didn't need a lot of product. I gave it a couple of, I think it was like 1.5 pumps, and literally just a little kind of penny size amount on the back of my hands, and then that is enough for my full face. So as I've mentioned, it is a 1 fluid ounces amount in there, so it is about the same amount as you would get on in an average foundation, but the size kind of is a bit weird. I feel like if I do too many pumps, I'm using too much product because of how small it looks, but literally it's about the same amount as every other foundations, and other foundations that would use up to maybe 2 full pumps on occasions. So I think it's just my mind playing a bit of a trick on me, to be honest. The shade match, so I've got 2.1 yellow. I think they also come in neutral and pinks as well, depending on what your underlying skin tone is. I thought it might be a little bit too warm for me. I usually like to go for a neutral tone foundation. So I don't know what you think. Leave me down comments down below about whether you think the shade actually matches me. I think in the camera it sort of seems quite nice. I don't know whether it's a little bit too dark compared to my actual skin tone. So I think maybe next time I'll go for 2.0 and see how that comes out. I do really like this foundation. Would I repurchase it again? I think definitely. It's also, again, I'll leave the details down below, but this foundation was basically $6. That was just insane. Most of my other foundations are upward to, I think all of these are about 25. The NARS is about 21. They're really pricey for something that you wear every single day. I do generally. And this one is basically $6. I mean, it's drugstore prices. I think it's even cheaper than most drugstore foundations. And in terms of how it performs, I think it's actually a little bit comparable to my NARS foundation. This one is definitely a little bit more luminous. It's a little bit more dewy, and I think in terms of the coverage, slightly better coverage. I like the way that this looks on my skin. This one feels really nice, and again, I like the kind of easy skin, feels like skin feel. So this one is actually really nice. It's really lightweight, and I'm really enjoying wearing this. In terms of longevity, it is, I think, not as long lasting, to be honest. When I was wearing this out, it could be a case of me just touching my face a lot. I find that the product does move. It comes off on my hands, on my fingers, and then towards the end of the day, it's kind of, I think it's the barest amount of tint on my skin. So it's not a full day lasting foundation, unfortunately. But I think I will repurchase because of the way it feels. I really like it, and the fact that it's affordable is fantastic. The only thing I really struggle with is finding my foundation shade, and hopefully there'll be places where they'll restock and it'll become more readily available. So yeah, that's the end of my review. Hopefully a really quick and easy one, and leave me any comments or questions down below. If you like this video, please remember to thumbs up and click like. If you're new to my channel, you can always subscribe to me so that I'll show up in your news feed, and let me know what you'd like to see me review next. Yeah, leave your comments down below. So I'll see you next time. Bye.